Hello my friends, I'm going to show you a different type of motion blur today. I made a video a month or so ago showing you how to turn motion blur on for, I think it was a running woman and a spinning fan. You can also do what's known as depth of field motion blur, where I've got a frog in my throat, sorry, where the depth of field of the camera creates a motion blur behind it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a motion blur where the foreground object is stationary, it is moving very fast, and the background is moving basically. So this would be achieved by, say, a sports photographer or videographer who's tracking a fast moving vehicle while the background whizzes past behind. So he's keeping the vehicle in sharp focus and then the background would be moving here. So in this particular situation, the car in the foreground is tracking from right to left, and everything in the background then should be tracking left to right. So it's very easy. All we just do, the first thing is we go to 3 frames as we did before, and we create a keyframe. And in that keyframe, what I want to do is I want to move everything that's not the car. So what I have here, if it doesn't snap good, is the hierarchy window. This is the easiest way to do it, and you can see the components of the scene. We have a group containing this couple, we have a group containing this family, and we have a figure which is a car. Let's call that car. Double click there, car. Then I have a couple of other cars at the back, named cars from Evermotion. And then I have a pterodome, which is a sky background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group of everything that isn't the vehicle at the front. So to do that, as I showed you recently, I do create grouping, and this grouping we're just going to call that everything, and then I'm just going to drag into that group everything that isn't the Enzo car. So I'm going to go here, holding control down, exclude that, then drag that into there. Now, before I let go of this, I will just say Poser's been very, very twitchy with me and crashing. So if it crashes at this point, I'll have to reload and carry on. Nope, that's all gone into that group called everything. So that's nice and easy. So now all I need to do is I need to take my group called everything. So I click up here and I open up groupings and I select everything, which contains couple and family. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to move that group. So the car's moving that way. So I want the motion blur to go that way. So I'm just going to move that group that way in frame 3. So what I'm looking for is an amount so that when I go to frame 2, it's moved sufficiently far. So now I go to frame 2, and you can tell that here. I use the step back option, and I go to render and render settings, and I have to turn motion blur on, which is here. And now I can just render that. And in theory, that now creates a tracking blur with the car stationary, but the background moving. And you can see. So the more I move it, the more the motion blur effect will appear, and the faster it will make the car appear. I will just mention one thing. In my scene, I had a pterodome sky background. So I think you'll agree that looks okay. It's kind of done the job. Everything's moving at the same rate. That's the important thing. That's why I created the group, so that everything moves at the same rate. But in my scene, I had this pterodome sky background. You might possibly have a billboard background. That's a flat plane with a sky photograph on it. But whatever you do, make sure that you include that in the motion blur. Otherwise, you'll get the sky static while the car is moving. So I hope you found that useful, guys. Just another little motion blur trick, and you have a great day.